to strike.
Hello my good Tenno, this is Mulgarath Plays. Coming to you with another Warframe tutorial featuring Nekro Prime, the Shinigami of Warframe. Nekro is known as one of the best or the best looter frames in the game alongside Korra, Ivara, Hydroid. This is because of his third ability, Desecrate, where enemies have a chance to drop additional loot. And as you may know, Warframe is a looter-shooter game. That is why Nekros Prime or Nekros is a must-to-have in your arsenal. And in this video I will show you a build for Nekros that will make you feel like a real Shinigami. This build can go toe-to-toe with steelpath enemies and even destroy them quickly. But before anything else, let us have a quick recap on how Nekros' abilities work. Starting with the passive Soul Siphon. Nekros' passive allows him to regenerate 5 points of health for every enemy that dies within a 10-meter radius. This passive also affects allies and companions, and it will come in handy with Nekros' third ability, which we will discuss later. Nekros' first ability, Soul Punch. This ability will knock back the targeted enemy and mark it for harvest. When the enemy dies with the mark on it, it will summon that enemy as a shadow. This ability will instantly kill enemies that are below 25% health. This ability seems good, but we replace this skill with the subsume ability, Gloom. Gloom is an ability from Sevagoth. It creates a radial aura where all the enemies inside the aura is slowed. The slow effect is affected by power strength. Gloom also gives us lifesteal, and this is not limited to the circle. Any damage output we do will have a lifesteal, and this is also affected by power strength. This ability will give us great synergy with our third ability because it will essentially give us lifesteal to every damage that we deal. Nekros' second ability, Terrify. Nekros quite literally terrifies the enemies, which will cause the enemies to flee and hide. This ability is great because you only need 167% strength to 100% armor strip enemies. However, take note that this does not armor strip acolytes. This comboed with our Gloom will slow down our enemies and make them not target us. Finally, Nekros' third ability, Desecrate. Nekros' bread and butter ability. This skill forces enemies to drop additional loot when they die. They will drop loot when they initially die and when their corpse depawns. Slicing enemy bodies will count as a different body, which will make one enemy drop a total of 4 different loots. This ability has an augment mod called Despoil, which is arguably the best augment mod of Nekros. This mod makes it so that instead of deducting energy from Nekros, it will take Nekros' health per enemy kill. This synergizes well with Nekros' passive, as such it will heal Nekros by 10 health per enemy killed within 10-meter radius, which reduces the damage we will take into our health from our Desecrate. We also have our Gloom, which basically is infinite lifesteal. Nekros' fourth ability, Shadows of the Dead. Summon shadows that take the aggro of the enemies away from you. The health and damage of the shadows will scale of your power strength. This ability also has an augment called Shields of Shadows. This mod enables us to redirect all the damage we take to our shadows, capping at 90% damage redirection. Now that we have talked about the skills and synergy of Nekros, let's move on to the build. For our Nekros, brief respite for our aura mod paired with decaying dragon key so we can utilize the shield gating mechanism. Rolling guard for the 3 seconds invulnerability and status cleanse. Blind rage for the 99% extra power strength, to which increases our slow and our gloom to 69%. Paired this up with a flat 65% strength from the fully stacked molt augmented. The slow from out gloom will go up to 91%. Stretch for the 45 increase range for our gloom. Desecrate and the distance for our shield of shadows. Then the augment mod shield of shadows for another layer protection. This will cause the damage we receive to be redirected to our summoned shadows. And the augment mod Despoil. Primed continuity for the duration, so even if we run a negative efficiency build, the drain from our gloom will still be manageable. Primed flow for the energy capacity increase so we can cast our abilities more even at 45% efficiency. Equilibrium to convert energy pickup to health and vice versa. We can pair this up with synth mods so we can pick up health orbs even if our health is at full. We run handspring for stagger recovery, but if you have primed sure-footed, you can use that. Molt Augmented for the 65% flat power strength and Arcane Strike for the melee attack speed. If you're not comfortable running low efficiency, you can replace the Blind Rage with Transient Fortitude. This will bring our power strength to 155%, but we will retain the 100% efficiency. This will not affect the build performance that much as such with the maxed out stack of Molt Augmented. The enemies will still be incredibly slow. However, you will be casting your Shield of Shadows more frequent, as such their decay rate will be higher. And now for the primary weapon build. For our primary weapons, we will use the Phantasma. Why use the Phantasma, you may ask? Well, that is because of its high fire rate and high status chance with high reload speed. Now for our Phantasma build. Galvanize Savvy for the status chance increase and Gun CO. Galvanize Hell and Vigilante Armaments for the multi-shot. Chilling Globe and Toxic Barrage to proc viral status effect. Shotgun Barrage for the attack speed. Incendiary Coat for heat procs. Make sure that the heat damage is higher than the viral damage, because we want to consistently procs heat for its scaling damage. Shotgun Ammo Mutation for the ammo management. Primary Dexterity because we will primarily use our melee to kill enemies. Then the last mod slot is free to put anything. If you have the mod Blaze, you can put it for more damage and heat damage. For our secondary weapons, you can choose between laetum or epitaph. Laetum if you want to use it for killing acolytes, and epitaph if you want to CC and prime more enemies. I suggest using epitaph if you change your Blind Rage into Transient Fortitude. Let's first take a look at our epitaph build. Barrel Diffusion for the flat multi-shot. Pistol Pestilence and Convulsion to create corrosive elements. We did not mod this for viral because we already have viral procs on our Phantasma. Prime Fulmination for the blast radius increase. This is important so we can hit more enemies. Heated Charge for heat procs, so that even if we stop using our Phantasma, the heat procs will still reset and scale up. Augur Secrets and Augur Pack for helping us achieve shield gating, since we will have 100% efficiency if we are using Transient Fortitude. Gunslinger and Ammo Mutation mod for increased fire rate and ammo management. Secondary Dexterity for additional combo duration for our melee. Now let's look at the laetum build. The only important evolution for our laetum is the Overwhelming Attrition, which gives us a 1200% base damage increase for every non-status and non-crit damage we deal. This condition applies to all the damage output that we deal, which means that this buff will always be active. For the build, we have Galvanized Diffusion for the multi-shot, Galvanized Shot for the gun CO, Pistol Pestilence and Convulsion to create corrosive elements, and Heated Charge so we can proc heat. The status effect of corrosive will remove 80% of the enemy's armor, and the heat procs will remove half of the remaining 20%. We also want to have heat as a priority proc so that our heat damage will scale nicely. Primed Pistol Gambit and Primed Target Cracker for the critical chance and critical damage increase. Steady Hands for the Exilus mod. You can change this into Lethal Torrent for faster projectile speed. Then for the Arcane, we still use Arcane Dexterity for the increased melee combo duration. Now for our melee weapon. I will use the Cronin Prime, however this is just my preference. You can use any melee weapon that suits your liking. I chose Cronin Prime because Tunfaz has a large hit radius and their animation is simple and quick. Now for the build. We use the Gemini Cross stance. You can use other stance because the Tunfaz stance are quite good and all has fast animations. Condition Overload for our flat damage increase. Since both our primary and secondary weapons can proc different status effects, Condition Overload will be great for our build. Primed Reach because the more enemies you hit, the higher your DPS. Blood Rush and Weeping Wounds for the critical chance and status chance increase per combo counter. Berserker Fury for the attack speed. This mod is great if you're running missions with high spawn rates such as survival missions and disruption missions. If you're not running high spawn rate missions, you can replace this with Quickening. Organ Shatter for the critical damage increase. And Primed Smite mod for double dipping our damage to the specific faction. If you don't like changing faction mods every time you play missions, you can change this into Sacrificial Steel for critical chance increase. For our companion, Panzer Vulpaphyla is the best choice, because it is practically immortal. And since we will use the synth mods, the viral quills from our Panzer Vulpaphyla will count as an assist. Now for the build, Synth Deconstructor for the health orb drop rate. Since our Panzer Vulpaphyla have viral quills, to which targets multiple enemies at once, The synth deconstructor will help us to get more heal orbs. Synth fiber so that we can pick up this health orbs even with full health. This is important because we are utilizing the equilibrium mod. Viral quills for the viral procs on enemies. Panzer devolution so our panzer will keep on reviving. Animal instinct for the enemy and loot radar. Pack leader to heal our panzer every time we damage enemies using our melee weapon. Medi pet kit just for regeneration. Link shield and link health is just there. But you can change this into any mod you desire. And fetch for the loot pickup. For the focus school. You can use Zenuric for the wellspring ability and inner might, which makes your first skill last not take any energy consumption. However, I recommend using Bazarin for the protective sling. This will be useful when facing enemies that will turn off your abilities, such as violence. That's it for the Nekro Prime build. I hope you liked the video. Subscribe for more videos. And comment if you have any build you want to see.
Now to strike.